Hey guys, this is Darren Benton again with Performance Motorcoaches. We are back here in Texas at the dealership. Today is the Monday after the July 4th. We're closed up today, but wanted to do a video. It was relatively quiet, low traffic, no traffic here at the dealership. So we are bringing a 2022 Renegade Classic. This is the CMR. So basically, this is an opposing seating quad slide coach. It's a pretty popular floor plan. We've done it several times. We did this, in fact, our very first coach that was a painted coach was a CMR. Very, very similar paint job. We kind of changed it up a little bit. We got rid of the silvers and grays and did some golds and some champagnes. Very happy with the way the paint job turned out. By the way, this coach is sold, pending pickup tomorrow morning, but wanted to do this video before it was leaving for its new home down in Florida. So really happy with the paint scheme. Of course, this is the new body style Cascadia. This is they call it the Cascadia 126. So you'll hear people call it the P4. So this is the latest body style of the Freightliner Cascadia. It's the 126, so it's a longer hood. It's equipped with a DD16, which is a 15.6 liter Detroit. And that'll run 1850 torque with this configuration right here. It is mated to a Detroit transmission 12-speed. So basically it's an automated manual transmission. We could do an entire video about an automated manual transmission, so we'll kind of skip over that. But to me, the very best power combination in a coach, in that you have 12 speeds, you have 1850 torque, you got 600 horsepower, so you kind of have check every box as far as acceleration, pulling power. This is one of the few trucks that you can get with the aero cap. So if you're looking at like the Peterbilt, you cannot get that. And this will be the only 600 horse coach you can get with the aero cap. So you know, that kind of sets itself apart a little bit from the other coaches that are out there. You know, the Peterbilt you can't get a cap, and then the Volvo you can't get a 600 horsepower. So we'll kind of come down the coach a little bit. Try to keep the paint scheme relatively simple in all the storage compartments. If you ever damage one, you're not having to do this very intricate paint design down in your storage compartments. You know, no fading down in the storage compartments either. So just kind of a nice clean look. Something that won't attract a lot of heat. Something easy to keep clean as well. So all the baggage compartments, or all the doors themselves, are all made in-house there at Renegade. They do a phenomenal job. Dual latch setup on each and every one of those. I've never had one of these pop open on me, knock on wood. So really happy with this setup. So the Aquad up there, that's the 45,000 BTU. We did add the outdoor refrigerator right here. One thing that we try to do, it's kind of difficult to catch there, we try to do as many 110 plugs into compartments as possible. Just, you know, if you're at a campground and have something to plug in, or you know, you have you know, let's say you designated one of these as a tool storage, you could put your battery chargers in there. So something we try to do on every single coach, do as many plugs on the right hand side as possible. It does have an outdoor entertainment here. So it's a 43-inch Samsung QLED smart TV, and then there is a Samsung sound bar down here as well. And new for 22, see if I can do this without smashing my fingers. It comes out and turns. So pretty cool setup. I did notice it does have magnets. It'll ride around just a little bit. My recommendation is we'll probably end up putting some little foam pads here or there, some strips on the inside, because I could see that we did drive it home. Didn't pop off, but I could see it kind of moving around, potentially causing a little bit of problems. It's a cool setup right here. Little USB right back inside there. Pretty handy. You know, you're gonna sit outside, charge your phone, charge whatever little gizmo. So USB right there. It would be easy to add a 110 back there, but for the most part, everything you're going to charge will be just on a USB setup. All of the compartments they use a urethane type liner. Basically, it's a part A, part B. So if you have any kind of chemicals in there, it won't dissolve it like if you were just using a regular spray on. So basically, this would be pretty similar to a bed liner, what you'd see in the pickups and such. So 3/4 pass through right here. This is one of the only places you can really do this. Makes it really handy to be able to have a large table, chairs, maybe a flagpole that'll slide a little bit further across there. Back here, I'll push this back in a little bit. There's a central vac on board. The central vac can be utilized inside or outside the coach. So if you wanted to vacuum a storage compartment or to be able to vacuum your vehicle as well, you could do that. Spare towels right there if you drop something on your tile floors and broke them. We come around the back side of the coach. Starting to get a little rain, so we'll try to do this as quickly as possible, but we're glad to have the rain out here in West Texas. It's been exceptionally dry last year, getting a ton of rain this year. I think that's pretty much, you'll see all over the country a fair amount of rain. So I wanted to start with this first. So basically they've changed up their hitch configuration just a little bit. The cool thing about this guy right here is it's really, really convertible. So kind of looks like a pintle hitch right there. So that'll slide back, so you can use just a regular 2 5/16 ball. Take and pop this loose right here. So you can do the 2-inch ball here. You can do the 2 5/16. You can also turn it sideways if you need to be able to flat toe here. Another cool thing, you can take all this out, put it in your storage compartment, and then be able to do like a bicycle rack here and be able to flat toe underneath. This is a 2.5-inch receiver here. There are some little adapters to be able to run that down to 2-inch. Fully convertible. The hitch right here is rated at 40,000 pounds. This setup right here is rated at 30,000 pounds. Put that back into place. And then the pintle hitch as well. Take and pull that back out. But all that stuff, it can be removed. It's fully convertible. Definitely a cool setup. That was kind of a pain in the past. Whenever, if you were flat towing a car, you either had to modify the hitch to be able to receive a 2-inch receiver there. Little plug right here. Still kind of playing around with this a little bit. We drug a stacker home the other day. So that is 2 camera inputs that go to the dash itself. With the current Garmin configuration, there are 4 inputs. So basically, that camera plug right there will utilize basically the front camera input. If you need to be able to utilize more cameras, you do have to add a monitor, and we're definitely adding more monitors. Pretty simple. It's pretty simple little spot there on the overhead console to be able to do an additional monitor and be able to do more channels there as well. So nice clean rear of the coach. That's probably the only real downfall to the classic models over, say, the XL, is they do not offer a fiberglass cap. To me, it's not too big of a deal, especially when you paint them, they don't stand out. But that is a comment we get pretty frequently. You cannot get a fiberglass cap on the back of the Classic. Of course, the Classics, you can do a lot more customizable floor plans. You can do different window configurations, and you get the additional ceiling height. To me, pretty small price to pay to be able to get a little bit nicer coach. It definitely makes a big difference when you walk inside them and have the additional ceiling height. Standard ceiling height, I'm 6 foot tall. I feel like I'm having to duck down all the time. Open these guys up right here. So that's a 36-foot short cord right there. It's a power cord reel that goes inwards. It's manual outwards. It does have a smart transfer switch right next to it. That transfer switch will basically keep you from getting yourself into a jam as far as low voltage or cross, if your hot legs cross with your neutral. There's a 50 amp buddy plug inside that as well. So if you were at a campground and were boondocking and wanted to have somebody plug in there, you could easily do that. And if you had a stacker trailer, you could plug in that as well. So 12.5 Gen, anything over 41 foot in length from Renegade and a Classic will come standard with the larger generator. Additionally, it will have 3 air conditioners up top. Really easily serviceable generator. That's kind of my go-to, my favorite generator. Get right to it, get anything you need, versus having to do everything really long dipsticks inside. Try to get through this pretty darn quick. We're getting a little bit heavier rain. So guide lights right there. Wet bay. It's another thing I've really highlighted on the wet bays. They're exceptionally clean. No stickers to have to contend with. Everything is water jetted in there. There's a heat mechanism back in that wet bay as well. Basically, it's a hydronic register, so great for really cold weather. And there's additional tank heaters below the gray water and black water here on your left-hand side. We'll roll up here. Dual inverters. You pretty much see me configure everything with dual inverters. The idea is you can run one inverter. You can actually run them both driving down the road, but you can run one air conditioner off of the inverter driving down the road. Keeps the hours off the generator. If you were going down the road in exceptionally dusty environment, keep that generator compartment a little bit cleaner as well. Nothing wild and crazy on batteries, just 2 of the 8 DAGMs. The nice thing about all the Renegade units is they're fully customizable in that you can add, you could add lithium to it, not a problem. So like your charged solenoids and your inverters are all lithium compatible as well. Single 120 gallon fuel tank here, which is pretty much the only option for any of these newer chassis. They're exceptionally heavier than they were in the past. So an 18,000 pound front. I don't even believe you can spec this with a 150 gallon. Potentially, if the truck was ordered prior to, you might be able to get a 150 gallon, but it's just due to the sheer weight of front of these coaches. They want to stick you down or kind of limit you to that 120 gallons. When we get them picked up there at the factory, we generally drive to almost Oklahoma, and so that's a close to 600-700 mile trip, so not a problem in my opinion. Just going to go ahead and step inside right now, just try to keep the water off the lenses and such. Adaptive cruise module right up front there. There's an additional one on the front of the windshield. All keyless entry right here, so there's a key fob, and there are basically the keypad right here to be able to lock your entry door and then do all your storage compartments as well. So I get a lot of people that ask, okay, how usable is the coach while you're driving up and down the road? This is a pretty good idea. It's a little bit tight right here, just due to the televator right back here and the opposing seating. This coach could be built without the televator. We've got the same coach going into production shortly that the customer just wanted the TV against the wall. So lots of different potentials here. We built this same floor plan, eliminating all the overhead cabinets here, doing huge picture windows. So that's kind of the cool thing about doing the classics. There's so many different potentials as far as floor plans, be able to more customize a motorhome for people that are looking for something just a little bit different. As I stated earlier, this is the classic. So basically, I'm 6 foot tall. See my belly button whenever I do up. But it just makes a huge difference. To me, walking in the XL feels like you're walking into a cheaper coach, strictly because of the ceiling height. They have just as many amenities. There's nothing really that will be different as far as woodwork, but to me, it's a night and day difference there. Huge difference there. So I'll kind of come here and we'll swap around if at all possible. Fortunately, I left the TV on earlier.
It's more than enough to get reasonable doubt.
In fact, I'm going to grab the other remote, turn it off just to eliminate that sound. I apologize. So, I said, fair amount of room here. Be able to access the refrigerator right here. Be able to get a drink out of the fridge while you're driving up and down the road. Get to your pantry as well. Full access to your entry door, the half bath as well. So pretty usable coach driving up and down the road. Everything is easy to get to. Your Firefly, all your operating systems, so nothing is covered up by a slide. And that, to me, that makes a pretty big difference. I've been in plenty of coaches that you wondered who engineered them, and if you wondered if they ever got in the coaches after the fact, because they'll hide things. They'll do some pretty goofy stuff, make them where you can't even get through the coach itself. So we're going to go ahead and pause and then get the slide outs out for you guys. Okay, kids. We're back with all the slide outs and the out position. So see a ton of room here with the opposing slides. Lots of room, even if you're sitting here with the recliners in the out position, still a ton of room to be able to walk around, have people sit there. So very usable coach, even more usable whenever the slides are extended. So we'll kind of just go through the coach left to right here, and we'll kind of highlight a few things. So pantry right here. So standard for 2022 will have the individual pantry drawers, which to me a little bit, they're going to hold the weight a little bit better than doing one combination unit there. Electrical here and here. I wish that there was a way to kind of combine some of this a little bit. Now the rear portion of this, some of your plumbing will utilize the back half of that cabinet, but it is a fair amount of room taken up there for your electrical top and bottom there, but fair amount of storage elsewhere. We'll go through. This is all solid maple cabinetry. This is Italian nutmeg stain, so to me a pretty good color combination, especially with the golden champagne on the outside itself. All higher end hardware. All the drawers are all dovetail construction, and they're all soft close as well. The monster of junk drawers right there, or that's actually designed for your silverware sets, but to me the monster junk drawer, all full length right here, ton of room. Kind of open up these guys right here, a little flop out, and then this guy right here, you put your pots and pans there, and there's a pull out trash can. Makes it pretty handy right there. So a good little setup in the kitchen there. Induction cooktop. It is not a 220 based unit, so if you were dry camping down like on a 30 amp service, you can still use that. Some of the others are a 220. So televator TV, I'll pop that up. A little remote there to be able to run the televator upward. Just a simple little 12 volt device. And there is a sound bar that's attached to the top of it, and that's integrated with the television as basically kind of like a surround sound. And there's a subwoofer below the kitchen sink as well. Couch right here, just more of a love seat, so a little bit tighter. See if I can open this guy right here. Pretty nice to have the extra space right there. That'll pop up. Drink holders on each side. USBs, basically anywhere you sit, anywhere you lounge, anywhere you go to sleep, you'll see USBs basically here, and here. So lots of different areas. It's always a crapshoot to know if they put a 110 in a USB, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So there is a 110 and a USB inside the compartment there. So it'll charge your phone or be able to, have an iPad or something like that. A little storage there. We'll kind of get into the cab a little bit later on, but a ton of storage here. We built this exact same floor plan a few times with a TV there, so a lot of different things you could potentially do. All of your electronics will be back in that position right there, and then this will go around. It's a little curtain that would go around on a little rail right there. So the dinette itself is convertible, so storage underneath on each side. And the dinette does pop down, so you need to be able to sleep like a kiddo over here. You could do that, or somebody that didn't mind kind of being wadded up in a little ball. But it would be a little difficult if you're 6 foot plus tall to be able to sleep in that position right there. Samsung refrigerator, which is pretty much what you'll see pretty much industry wide on the larger truck chassis motor homes, the Super Cs as well. This is a 18 cubic foot. They'll all have a ice maker down below as well. So this is you hear people talking about online about the wooded entry, so it doesn't have any of the soft touch walls around this area right here. Some additional coat hooks right there. Lots of storage there as well. Pocket door. So this floor plan is standard with a pocket door. Don't know why it's so important to do laundry in private, but this is standard. That could be changed up, but it would call for a custom chassis fee. So to me, not too big of a deal. Lots of storage right here. This is convertible as well, so you could basically pull those out and just use them as a hanging closet as well. Stacked washer dryer. And nice thing about down below, they just run a pretty simple little valve set, so you're not having to chase a whole bunch of valves to be able to turn those on. Lots of drawers here and there, so nice little area that you could basically extend your pantry over or just use it as additional closet space as well. So I'm going to pop in here. Half bath, so decent room right here. Has a little corner sink, still where still large enough where you could go, you could take and brush your teeth and whatnot. So do the proverbial toilet flop right here. So decent room right here. I'm not against any wall or anything like that. So good sized room in here. A little bit of storage underneath. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you build a 45-foot coach, I think they really truly need to be a bath and a half configuration. It's pretty difficult to sell these coaches, which is a single bath. So I can pop back here into the master. So this bed right here is we call it like an RV king. So basically this is a 72-inch wide bed right here, 80 inches in length, and then you'll do have some USBs and 110s on each side of the bed. And there is a master controller when you're laying in bed overhead to be able to run your generator, turn your lights on and off as well. We'll flop around here to the closet. They do a great job here utilizing as much space as possible. So basically, everything will pass through on the back side. If you took some hangers and had little heads that turn slightly, you could be able to run a full set of clothes all the way back behind the TV as well. That cushion right there is designed to go inside the dinette there as a little filling cushion in the dinette. So a fair amount of storage down below as well. These are a little bit shallower because essentially what happens whenever your slides come in, this will actually go over the top of the bed just a skosh. I come back here to the master. Leave this open to not expose our camera person, but good room here. This is a full tile shower. It's not a solid surface shower. To me, it's there again, kind of no-brainer. In this price category, fiberglass showers to me are just the money you spend is not worth it. There's just so much more room. They're fully customizable, and whenever you do a tile shower, they get larger. You don't have these little encroachments inside the shower. So you could do this in solid surface or tile. On these higher end coaches, I like to do a tile, just a little bit nicer setup. Makes it pretty nice right here, whether you're shaving your legs or just have to have additional storage for things. You could utilize this for several different things. They are pretty darn stout as well. There again, new for 22, they did a little bit of slide bar right here. So this will go upwards and downwards. It would help to kind of conserve water a little bit because you can take and use this to rinse off, get your water into corresponding spaces a little bit quicker, and there's a little on-off on it as well. You'll notice overhead there's no skylight. To me, kind of no-brainer. Just another point of water intrusion, and it makes the bathrooms hot, exceptionally hot whenever you do that. So if you'll see basically any stock coach I build, you'll never see that. You do have the overhead right there. So come time to take a nice hot shower, open that up right there. That'll evacuate a lot of the moisture out, give it a little bit nicer feel. So toilet right back here. I'll do the same thing, pop down the toilet. Decent amount of room everywhere. Be able to access several different things. We've had people inquire about toilet paper. Well, there you go. This makes it pretty pretty easy to get out of the way. Kind of a no-brainer as far as the placement there. I'm going to pop open the bed. So pretty much all these units, all the freshwater will be below the bed itself. So there's two 75 gallons. Basically, they're linked together. So 150 gallons of total freshwater. They're topped off and ready to go. As far as evacuation, pull that valve right there and be able to evacuate your tanks in a pretty short period of time. But it makes it nice to be able to get to all this, be able, if you check for any leaks and whatnot. We come back up the front to the chassis itself. Nice opening. That's kind of my go-to. That's my favorite thing about the Cascadia is you do a really large opening. The cab itself is exceptionally tall as well, so it makes it really easy to see out of. This is a one-piece windshield, so just a pretty cool setup, and the fact that it very Class A-esque, bringing it over to these. That a lot of people's complaints for years was that the cab felt so isolated from the truck itself. This basically allows to bring a portion of the cab back to your RV. These seats right here, they do swivel, so you can basically take and plop these seats around to be able to utilize even more of that. Even with this into place right here, you can take and still flop those around. We do have some people that will put little covers over the windows as well, so you wouldn't have to utilize this if you didn't want to. I'm going to plop down here. Pretty easy to get in this cab. So basically this is telescoping as well. Gotta get a little angry with it, but kind of regardless of your size, makes it pretty easy to get in here. Really easy to see out of. You have upper and lower mirrors right here. That lower mirror basically kind of sits in your blind spot. So pretty good amount of room here. The dash air conditioner works exceptionally well. The Cascadia compared to the M2, night day difference. If you want to sweat, jump in an M2 and you'll most likely sweat in any kind of warm weather. The dash air conditioners just don't work nearly as well as the Cascadia themselves. But nice layout of everything. This probably in a few months we're going to go all full digital. Varying opinions on that. That's when we'll probably go back and then put a like a backup monitor right there. Be able. There's talks about bringing some of the backup monitors or the backup cameras into these larger displays, but just time will have to progress, and we'll see kind of how everything lays out. But this particular coach right here, and that's another thing that's really nice about the Cascadia, is that they have a full Detroit assurance package whenever you get the Detroit engine and transmission. So they'll have things like adaptive cruise, crash mitigation, blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning. Now all these features can be turned off to a certain degree, but most of those units will come back on either via a key cycle or basically like a timeout. So they do get a little annoying at times if you're not used to having that type of safety, but it's definitely something that we can kind of walk through and go through. But definitely happy with the way everything turned out on the coach, the colors inside and outside. We brought this unit in, I guess it was the week before last. I had to get some things buttoned up here at the dealership, but happy for their new owners being here tomorrow. They're actually upgrading from a Dynamax DX3, so I think they'll be really happy with the unit. Gone through the unit, it's a lot of fun. The few additional features of the 22 definitely makes it a little bit nicer, but just really happy with everything. We'll be back up next week in RV land picking up another coach for a customer out in Albuquerque, but we always appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out the channel, liking and subscribing. So definitely benefits the business, and we always want to try to show as many features of these coaches as possible. The best way to get in touch with us is just call the dealership or send me an email. My email address is Darren@Performance Motorcoaches. So it's always, you can just always drop me a line. I'll be happy to give you a call, kind of walk through these coaches. We do have several coaches that are coming down the pipeline. Most of them are retail sold. I think you'll see that kind of industry wide, and pretty much all the dealers as well. Most of the stuff is sold, but we did a few here and there that'll be popping in. Always check our website, PMC RV, Performance Motorcoaches RV, PMCRV.com. Check out our used inventory, and hopefully we'll keep on bringing you guys more videos. Thanks a lot.